What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Fearless Nick YouTube channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be going through my round 20 2022 AFL tips / predictions, and obviously as well as that, like we always do, we're going to be going back over my round 19 tips from last week and seeing how I went. If you guys going to enjoy this video, remember to like, share, subscribe. Yeah, like I've said, we are so close to 300 subscribers, and it would mean the absolute world to me if we could get there by the final. So if you haven't clicked that big red button down below yet, now is your time to do so. Anyways, without any further ado, yeah, let's get stuck in away. So for the round 19 tips last week, a 7 out of 9 this week, back-to-back 7s. Unbelievable scenes here at Fearless Nick HQ weeks in a row. But anyways, we're going to quickly go back over for the games and my tips from last week. Starting off with the Friday night game between the Tigers and the Dockers. I did actually tip the Dockers to win this one by 17 points. Obviously ended up being a draw, as we all know. What a phenomenal game that was. Even if that's a draw, you still get the correct tip. So yeah, I got a correct tip there, which I'll take. Bit of a lucky one though. I feel like Richmond could have very easily won that game. Next game at Blundstone Arena, we had the Hawks and North. Don't really much have to say about this one. I tipped Hawthorn. I thought it was going to be a lot closer, but Hawthorn got a bit of a percentage boost, which they probably need, and they've won 3 in a row now. Yeah, I hope for North's sake they can continue the form they've been showing against, Collingwood and Richmond. But yeah, Hawthorn, wow, they're starting to find a bit of momentum, winning 3 games on the trot now. Next game of the SCG between the Swans and the Crows. The Swans got it done pretty comfortably. I didn't watch this game. I don't really have much to say about it. I think it just looked like the Swans were just the better side. And yeah, fair play to Adelaide. I think they really took it up to them, but the Swans just too good in the end. Next game at the Adelaide Oval, absolute cracking game of football this one. Port Adelaide and Geelong. The Cats got up by 12 points in an absolute thriller. Port Adelaide came back from, I think it was 30 points down against Geelong in that third quarter, and really looked like they could seriously push the Cats all the way to the end and maybe even beat them. But the Cats, too experienced, too classy, too good in the end. They got the Chocolates by 12 points over the Power. Next game at the Gabba, we got the Q clash between the Lions and the Suns. Cracking game as well, this one. I didn't watch this one because I was watching the Port Adelaide, or maybe it was the Bulldogs Melbourne game, I can't remember, but I didn't watch it. I did tip the Lions though, so I will take that. It was a really good game of footy though. I think Gold Coast, really tested them, but nonetheless got another correct tip. Game at Marvel Stadium, we had the Dogs and the D's. The Dogs ended up getting up by 10 points in another absolute cracking game. It was an overall really great round of footy, if I'm going to be honest. I was a little bit unlucky with this tip. Melbourne led for majority of the match. I'm pretty sure they led at every break, the D's, but the Dogs hit the front in the final 3 minutes or something like that. And then Jamarra Ugle-Hagan from the boundary. What an absolute game. He had an absolute blinder of a game, Jamarra Ugle-Hagan, really showing why he is the number 1 pick this season. And I'd probably say they're the favourites to lock up that 8th spot at the moment. Next game at Marvel Stadium between the Blues and the Giants. Don't really much have to say about this game. The Blues are pretty much an unstoppable force at Marvel. I think they've only lost 1 game this year, and that was to St Kilda, I believe. But yeah, too good there for the Giants, the Blues, in a big win, because I think the Blues, they're probably only 1 win away now from securing that top 8 spot. Next game of the MCG, what an unbelievable game this one was. Collingwood and Essendon. Jamie Elliott winning the game for the Pies after the siren. I didn't watch the final quarter. I didn't watch the game overall, but I watched the final 2 minutes back, and oh boy, I'm pretty sure Essendon led for the entire second half of the match, and yeah, it was a really heartbreaking way to go. I did end up tipping the Bombers in this one. I thought they could cause a little mini upset, and honestly, I wasn't far off, and that's probably not the worst call. Yeah, overall, unbelievable game though. Seriously unbelievable game, and yeah, what an unbelievable goal by Jamie Elliott though. I have to give him credit for that. That was a pretty nice snag to win the game. Next game and the final game at Optus Stadium between the Eagles and the Saints. I did end up tipping the Saints, and they got the job done. So thank you, St Kilda. But yeah, don't really have much to say, honestly. The Saints, just the better side. West Coast looked all right, I think, in that first half, but that second half, especially that last quarter, was all St Kilda by the looks of things. So overall, pretty good round of footy. I'm gonna say some really close games. I was a bit unlucky with the two I got wrong. The D's led for 3/4 of the match, 3.5 quarters of the match, and the Bombers lost after the siren. So I could have very easily got a perfect round this round, but nonetheless, we move on. 7 out of 9, definitely take that. And yeah, let's move on to the. Alrighty, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, round number 20. So it all kicks off on Friday night, as it seems to do. I don't think there's going to be many Thursday night games for the rest of the year, but it all kicks off. It is Fremantle taking on Melbourne at Optus Stadium. Absolute blockbuster, this one. This is a huge game. Fremantle dropping a couple of valuable points against Richmond, who probably weren't at their best. It's fair to say they haven't been at their best for a couple of weeks now. And the D's dropping a valuable game there against the Dogs, which actually puts them a game behind Geelong. So if they still... I'm actually tempted to tip Freo here. I think they could really rise to the occasion. I've tipped Melbourne a lot this year. I'm going to go Freo. I'm going to go the brave pick. I've tipped Melbourne a lot this year. I know Jake Lever's back. Ben Brown's still out. Their forward line was pretty good, Melbourne, but I think Freo's defence... Freo did actually beat Melbourne earlier in the year. They were the first team to beat them this year, the Dockers, and I'm going to tip them again. I'm going to tip the Dockers in an absolute thriller by 4 points. And but I think the Dockers, I'm going to tip the Dockers in this one. I'm going to tip them to win by 4 points in an absolute classic. Next game of the MCG between Collingwood and Port Adelaide. The Pies, they've won 9 in a row. You can't really fault them at the moment. They've won a few close ones, but a win's a win. You take a win in footy. Nothing's a guarantee. The Pies could have easily lost all of those close games, but they haven't, and that's probably due to the fact that they're probably one of the most informed sides in the comp at the moment. Whereas Port Adelaide, I'd probably say their season is pretty much out of reach. They're 2.5 games behind Richmond. They're a couple games behind St Kilda and the Dogs as well now. So they've sort of fallen out of that top 8 race now. And I think the way Collingwood have been playing, especially at the MCG, I'm going to tip the Pies to win this one. I don't think you can really go past them. They've been playing some unbelievable footy. I probably should have tipped them last week, but I tried to go for the upset. Almost came off. I feel like Port Adelaide could really take it up to them, though. If they play that footy they did in that third quarter against Geelong, they could definitely be up for it, Port. And Collingwood will lose at some point, but I just don't see it happening. Honestly. I'm going to tip the Pies to win this one by, I'm going to say 19 points. And I think it'll be a bit of a slog of a match, but I'm going to tip the Pies to win that one. Next game in the SCG, we got the Swans and the Giants. The Sydney Derby, I think is what it's called, up in Sydney. I don't know. I don't live there, obviously, so I wouldn't know what it's called. But I think this is a pretty easy tip. I'm going to be tipping the Swans to get this one done. I think, they want to make a push for top 4. The Swans, they got to be winning these sort of games. The Giants are not in the best of form at the moment. They got pretty much blown out of the water by the Blues last week. And look, the Giants have had the wood over Sydney the past couple of years. It wouldn't shock me if GWS pulled off an upset here, but I just don't see it. I think this is the one. I think the Swans, they owe the Giants after last year in that elimination final, and I'm going to be tipping the Swans in this one by 27 points. I feel like they'll get the job done over the Giants. Next game at Marvel Stadium, we got the Saints and the Hawks. Oh, wow. Massive game of football, this one. The Hawks are obviously out of the top 8 race, so they got nothing to play for. They can play free now. They probably just don't want to go down further at this point. Whereas the Saints, it's all to play for the Saints. It's completely the opposite story. The Saints are playing for their for their season. They are still in the finals race after a good win last week over the Eagles. This is a hard game. Hawthorn are capable of some big wins, but I just don't. The Saints are so unpredictable though, so it's almost a coin flip, because Hawthorn's best can actually really challenge, but the Saints have played good footy at Marvel, so I think, I'm going to go the upset. I'm going to go Hawthorn to win. I need to go brave. A couple of upsets almost came off for me last week, but I'm going to be tipping the Hawks in this one. I feel like they've got nothing to play for. I think the Saints are a bit inconsistent. If they win this game, the Saints, they'll have my respect back. But at the moment, I'm actually going to tip the Hawks. I think, they're in some good form. They've won 3 in a row, whereas the Saints have been a little bit patchy. So I'm going to say the Hawks win by, let's go 20 points. I think the Hawks exactly 20-point win there over the Saints. I feel like, the Hawks have just been playing better footy at the moment. I'm just going to tip them just for the sake of it. Just at the Cattery, we've got Geelong up against the Western Bulldogs. The Dogs obviously had a massive win last week against the D's, who are. Whereas the Cats, you can't really fault them either. They've been playing unbelievable footy almost since Tom Stewart's out. They haven't faltered, Geelong. Even with Tom Stewart being out, they have not faltered. And at GMHBA Stadium, I don't see the Dogs winning this one. I could see the argument maybe, but I think the Cats win this one pretty comfortably. And I'm going to say the Cats win this by 31 points. And I reckon Hawkins and Cameron are in for another big night. And I reckon Tyson Stengel's going to have a big night as well. So the Cats, I reckon, will be big winners there over the Dogs, I reckon. Next game at the Adelaide Oval, we have the Crows up against the Blues. Now, the Blues, they've been a bit patchy as of late. I'm pretty sure they've gone win-loss ever since the Richmond game, I think, back in, round 13 or whatever. So, they're in a bit of patchy form, the Blues, and they won last week. So form might suggest they're due for a loss here. The Crows are a very, very different side in Adelaide, so I wouldn't rule them off. However, I think Carlton will know what's at stake here. I think the Blues will know what's at stake. I know they have been going win-loss. However, I think it's time they break this curse. They should theoretically get the job done here against the Crows, but I'm actually going to tip a bit of a close game. I am going to tip the Blues, obviously. I'm going to tip the Blues in a bit of a close game. The Blues win by 8 points in an absolute thriller, and it's going to be a real tight one, I reckon. The Crows are a very different team at Adelaide Oval. So next game at Metricon Stadium, we've got the Suns up against the Eagles. Look, I don't think you need to be a footy expert to tip this game. It's pretty obvious. The Suns have been in way better form, albeit they have lost their last two. But then again, they were pretty good sides. Brisbane at the Gabba and Essendon at Marvel, both teams who have found some form as of late. I'm going to tip the Suns. At Metricon Stadium, it's almost become a bit of a fortress for the Suns this year. Not many teams have been able to beat them at Metricon Stadium this year. Only a handful have. And I think against not the best side in West Coast, it's fair to say. I think they should be winning this game. I'm going to be tipping the Suns to win this one by 35 points. And I think they will just be too strong for the Eagles. Next game of the MCG, we've got the Tigers up against Brisbane. The Tigers, well, we've been in a bit of a patchy last couple of weeks. We've coughed up some big margins. We've coughed up some valuable points over the last couple of weeks, it's fair to say. And we're taking on a Brisbane Lions team who haven't been the greatest of the MCG. They seem to, they don't like the ground very well, the Lions. So I know I said until Richmond win, I'm going to be tipping them. But I feel like the Lions' record at the MCG is going to make me go the biased option and tip Richmond. So I am going to tip Richmond in this one, not comfortably. I'm going to say we get this one done by 11 points. It'll be a good game. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. But I think Brisbane yeah, I think we know the ground better ultimately, so I think we might be able to exploit Brisbane there. So I'm going to say Richmond, we win by 11 points there in that one. The last game at Marvel Stadium, well, it's really not the greatest of games to finish off the round. We've got Essendon and North Melbourne. The Bombers, where they have been in some really good form the last couple of weeks. Yes, they did lose to Collingwood, but it was actually after the siren, so and I'm pretty sure they were like 37 points down at quarter time. So and to come back from that shows a lot of resilience, and it shows the Bombers have come a long way. So I am going to be tipping the Bombers in that one. I think North, they're starting to find a little bit of form, but I think last week shows that they're not completely out of that hole yet. So I am going to be tipping the Bombers quite comfortably. You know what? I'm going to say 43 points. The Bombers get a nice little percentage booster there just to cap off their really good second half of the year so far. So there are my round 20 AFL tips. We'll go back over them now. I tipped Fremantle over Melbourne. That could potentially change depending on the ins and outs. And, you know, there's always a few late changes and all that. But I'm going to be tipping Freo by 4 points, Collingwood by 19, Sydney by, 27, Hawthorn in an upset over St Kilda by, 20 points, Geelong to get over the Dogs by 31, the Blues to win over Adelaide in Adelaide by 8 points, Gold Coast to beat West Coast at Metricon Stadium, I think I said 35 points, Richmond over Brisbane, bit of a biased tip there, but I'm going to go with it. I reckon we win by 11 points, did I say? And I reckon the Bombers win by 43. So those are my round 20 tips. But before we go, as always, we are going to check the comp as we always do. And yeah, there we are. So there is the ladder after round number 20. We have St. Lai 12, Ben P. He is still in first. He's only 2 tips ahead of Sam H or Khan the Catters at the moment. So the top 2 are starting to heat up big time now. We got Magpie Army 2016, who's still in third. He is on 108 correct tips. Angus, who's jumped back into fourth. He's overtaken me by 1. He got an 8, as did Tyson R. Sam H got a 9. So good job, mate. Perfect score. And Ben P got an 8. I forgot to mention that. I obviously got a 7, as you know. Eating Sunscreen, Jake L got an 8. He's on 105 correct tips as well. He's equal with me. We got Shannon, who's in 7th. He got 4 this week, and he's on 101. We got Louis, who's on 7 as well. Who got 7? He's not on 7. He got 7 this week. He's on 98, as well as Lincoln, who's tied. Lincoln got an 8. So, wow, he's had an unbelievable comeback, Lincoln, considering he was last at one stage. We got Victor B. He got 6 this week. He's on 95 correct tips. Still in reach of Louis and Lincoln. And down in the bottom 2, we got John Z, Deesnut 69420, and Adam the Goat 37, or Adam S, who are on 61 and 60 correct tips respectively. Deesnut got a 4 and Adam got a 6. So yeah, not a bad result for all these guys. I'm going to be honest. A lot of 8s, couple of 7s. 1-9, so shout out to you, Sam H, well done, perfect round for you, my friend. But yeah, if you want to join my tipping comp, it'll be in the link in the description and in the pinned comment like it always is. So yeah, shout out to all these legends who have joined the comp, like I said, in the pinned comment and in the description if you wanna join it. But yeah, that is my my ladder after round 20. Those were my round 20 tips as well. And so there we go, guys. Those were my round 20 tips for this upcoming round. Comment down below your tips. As always, comment down below how you went on the weekend. How did your team go as well? Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Also, remember to join my tipping comp. So it'll be in the link in the description if you want to join it, and it will be in the pinned comment like it always is. Yeah, remember to like, share, subscribe. Like I said, we're aiming to get 300 by the final. So if you can make that happen, that would be absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, shout out to everyone who is in my comp and everyone who watches and supports the channel. It really means a lot. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Cheers!